cancelled his day's engagements and stayed at Chequers, where he's being kept in touch with arrangements for the funeral. He had favoured Saturday, a day when most people are not working, and the ceremony planned for Westminster Abbey will be the major public commemoration he'd called for. Among politicians today, there's a growing demand for a living memorial to Princess Diana.
I think it's obviously going to take some time to work out the details of the best way of creating what I would call a living memorial to her, but I hope that it will reflect the energy and vibrancy that she brought to her work in so many different areas of life.
Others had a different idea for a memorial.
As she had been brought to her death, and others had, by the press, it would be fitting if the press, who have made millions out of her, were to set up a trust to ensure that the charities that she has supported, and of course will no longer be able to continue to support, would benefit in perpetuity. That would be a fine memorial.
A worldwide ban on landmines, which Princess Diana had campaigned for so vigorously, is now being advocated as a fitting tribute to her. An international conference in Oslo today, seeking such a ban, began with a minute's silence.
I ask you all to raise and to observe 1 minute silence in memory of Diana, Princess of Wales.
If a ban was agreed, one French politician, Jacques Lang, said it should be named the Princess Diana Treaty. Back home, the Liberal Democrats said the campaign had been given new impetus.
I hope that if any good comes out of this dreadful tragedy, it can at least be in the form of some degree of moral impetus on the international community to resolve for once and for all the dreadful personal landmines issue.
But whatever memorials are finally agreed on, for this week politicians at home and abroad simply want time to grieve. Jackie Ashley, ITN, Westminster.
It's been confirmed that the Scottish referendum will go ahead as planned on September the 11th. Today, however, all campaigning in Scotland and Wales, as well as political activity in general, has been suspended. Well, our political editor Michael Brunson is in Downing Street now. Mike, I gather you've got some more details from number 10.
Yes, number 10 has been very closely involved all morning with the preparations for the funeral. What spokesman for the government is saying is this, that there has plainly been a national outpouring of grief already, which shows the depth of affection for Diana, and that both the government and the palace want the funeral to reflect that. And there is a very, very keen desire all around from the palace, from number 10 and the family, that ordinary people should in some way or other be deeply involved in the funeral. Now that can take quite a number of ways. There will of course be many people lining the route from St James's Palace to Westminster Abbey, but more than that, it's expected that ordinary people will be invited into the Abbey for the funeral and that they will take part. Some of those people will be from the charities, for example, that Princess Diana was involved in. And yet, we are told at the same time we should not expect that the entire ceremonial aspect of this will be forgotten. For example, at previous funerals, although this is not to be a full state funeral, at previous funerals the coffin has been carried on a gun carriage. Now, on this occasion, they're not ruling out at the moment the fact that that may happen too. So the guidance is that it will be a unique national funeral for a unique person and a unique event, and it will have the mix, if you like, of the grand state formal ceremonial, but the involvement very much of representatives of the ordinary public.
Do you think that this was, in fact, what Mr Blair envisaged when he talked about wanting to see some real public celebration of the princess?
Well, I think it stems very much from the idea that he encapsulated yesterday the idea of the people's princess. This was a princess who wasn't just going on the grand events, that she was very much in touch with the people. And so they are saying they don't want this funeral just to be a funeral attended by the great and the good, but by ordinary people and having their involvement too.
Michael Brunson in Downing Street, thank you very much.
For those of you just joining us, you're watching an extended lunchtime news from ITN. We're staying on the air until 1:25 and will then be followed by your local news programmes. In case you turned on during our programme, here's a reminder of the main news of the day. Buckingham Palace has announced that the funeral of Diana, Princess of Wales, is to be held on Saturday at 11 o'clock at Westminster Abbey. This report from Colin Baker.
Drawn by affection and fondness for their princess, and by their overwhelming loss, the crowds began to gather at St James's Palace a short while ago,
queuing to sign the Book of Condolence opened this morning. This is the official residence of Prince Charles. Behind the walls in the Chapel Royal, Diana, Princess of Wales, rested last night.
She was just such a special, lovely person, wasn't she? I mean, irreplaceable, absolutely irreplaceable. We all loved her.
She was the queen of people's hearts, and what had happened to her it wasn't time.
At the request of the families, Diana's coffin will lie privately at the altar of the Chapel Royal before being taken in procession to Westminster Abbey for the funeral service. Burial will then take place at Althorp in Northamptonshire. Diana will be buried next to her father at the Church of St Mary the Virgin in Great Britain. 20 generations of the Spencer family are buried here. Diana's brother, the Earl Spencer, went to the church this morning. At the request of both the Royal and Spencer families, the burial service will be a strictly private ceremony. On Saturday, Diana will come home. Colin Baker, ITN.
In other developments today, the 7 photographers who were chasing Diana's car are still in custody in Paris. Police there have been granted extra time to hold the men. Under French law, they could be charged with manslaughter. It's reported that some of them may also be accused of taking photographs of the crashed car rather than going to the aid of Diana and Dodi El Fayed. The nature of Diana's death has turned the spotlight on the media and prompted fresh calls for stricter privacy laws. Her brother, Earl Spencer, has accused newspaper editors and proprietors of having blood on their hands over his sister's death. And in Oslo, a minute's silence has been held at a conference on landmines in tribute to the princess's campaign for a worldwide ban. The Norwegian foreign minister said he would spare no effort to achieve the goals that she had set.
Well, it almost goes without saying that Diana was loved throughout Britain, but she had a special place perhaps in the hearts of the people of Wales. When she married the Prince of Wales, she became their princess. And this morning, a book of condolence was opened in Cardiff, and mourners have been lining up to write their tributes. Chris Roberts reports.
Wales is in mourning today, devastated at the loss of its princess, who so often spoke of her pride at bearing the Principality's title. Books of condolence have opened at council offices as people across Wales try to come to terms with Diana's death. As with so much of the nation, the people of Wales feel as if they've lost a friend.
I just felt like, to go and say bye kind of thing, say bye to her.
Love the royal family and Princess Diana, loved a lot. And I was a bit shocked about what happened, because it shouldn't have happened to such a nice person.
It was this tragic way to go, but now maybe they can leave her alone, because she'd done such a great service for everybody.
Wales fell in love with its princess from the moment of her first official visit back in 1981. Although newly married and new to the responsibilities of being a princess, Diana formed an immediate bond with both people and place. Given the freedom of Wales' capital, Cardiff, Diana responded with thanks in her new native tongue. In times of need, such as when floods devastated Wales in 1987, Diana was there. A smile and words of comfort for families whose homes had been washed away in days of torrential rain. Just being there seemed to lift people's spirits. The books of condolence are filling with residents' memories of the princess as Wales tries to express its feelings of grief. The entire Principality is in mourning at the loss of Diana. Wales and its people felt enormous affection for their princess. Her death has left an atmosphere of devastation. Chris Roberts, ITN.